Welcome to Vision Profiles, the podcast for dedicated Apple Vision Pro users. This week, the UC San Diego study puts real numbers behind Vision Pro in the operating room. MLB brings live Apple Immersive Baseball. I can't believe it. To the head starting August 28th. And some of you said that will never happen. Oh no, they would never do it in that sport. And my dream came true. I get to watch baseball and shut out the rest of the world. So we'll talk about that. But also the 5th developer beta came out just a couple hours before we record. And I saw that it was out. I loaded it on my headset, and it took a while, and we'll talk about that. And then there was no information on it. You couldn't find doodly squat. I refreshed and did get the developer notes, so we will talk about that briefly. I'm Marty Gensius, an associate professor at Kent State University, a podcaster, and longtime Apple enthusiast.
I'm Eric Bolden, just off a vacation. I worked in IT, but my passion is finding creative ways to share content, currently photography of plants, birds, and panoramic sequences.
And I'm Dave Ginsburg, the host of the Untouchable iOS podcast, IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert. I'm continually discovering new ways Apple Vision Pro is shaping the future of computing.
Yeah, and Eric just came back from vacation. Nicely enough, he timed his trip back with his partner to join me for dinner last night just before we cut Notebook. And I don't know if he had any more interesting stops from Kent to Wisconsin along the way.
We made it to sleep, woke up, and it was pouring, just pouring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Storms are pretty bad, yeah. They were here last night.
Loading the car in the rain, and then figured we'd give it a couple minutes. And pretty much the rest of the trip back was uneventful. The dogs claimed that they didn't recognize us and they had been abused the entire time we were gone. And could they have another treat? Fish asked for some more water, but other than that, it was pretty smooth.
You were just cruising.
Lots of
cruised
eggs.
by the Ginsburg exit too, by the way. I think.
Oh, really?
You did.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
You just need to plan your meals as your stops. But yeah, that storm hit this morning just when I was recording or trying to record Fade to Chat. And my dog does not like thunder. So I later today, I went to edit it. I think I had at least 9 or 10 points in the show that I had to edit out or compress because we started over because of the thunder and the dog and such. So storms are all gone. It's quiet. There was a little rumbling earlier tonight and the dog was reacting to that. But I think it's late enough now that we can get into this. And let's get into the beta news. As I mentioned, the visionOS 27 Beta 5 was released, and so were a bunch of other betas. So if you're into developer betas, you will find those also available in other devices. These are the release notes, and they are available. It took a lot of refreshing until finally it showed up with what is changed in this. And for those who are viewing the video, I am just paging through, and there are tons of fixes, corrections, notes about things they still need to fix, and a lot of changes. There were a lot of changes in SAI on this, and you can see a bunch of resolved issues there, continued known issues. And I'll give you a breakdown of what this is, but just a lot of changes here. And I don't know if that comes as a surprise to either of you guys, or if you've had much of a chance to look at it or a chance to care with what's being seen there. It's 15 gigabyte, so a large one.
Yeah, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger every time.
Yeah, I mean, I did the Tahoe beta update, and it was like 500 megabytes. That was it.
You mean Golden Gate?
Oh, not Gold. Yeah, well, what is it? Oh, Golden Gate. Yeah, Tahoe. a thing back. Craig in the chat room said, GE loading beta now. He's in the process of doing that. But the news is the fixes were essentially eye tracking changes and eye tracking improvements. Tracking quality degraded after running the eye setup. And so you might want to consider rerunning your eye setup because it degraded from in beta 1 through 4. And so now if you move to beta 5, go ahead and do the eye and hand setup on your device. You might see some changes really worth impacting that. So if you've noticed a sense of that degradation of the eye and eye connection, the big thing it solved for me, I mentioned on a previous show, was the fact that I had lost the hand gesture to bring in Control Center. Other people had reported that. I loaded it, and that's the first thing I tried when it came up, and it still didn't work. So I rebooted it, and then that function, the hand gestures worked. Siri gets more natural. You can now activate SAI by just looking at the orb and talking. You don't have to pull up using Hey S Person. This happened on beta 2, but it's back in this release note. Siri bugs got fixed, a long list of them. Duplicate orbs popping up, drafting messages into the wrong contact, dropped conversation cards, image generation results not scrolling, and more. New, as of the beta 5, SAI, conversation history, is no longer synced to devices, still running an older beta, only device-to-device beta 5 or later. Nothing gets lost, but your beta 4 headset won't see beta 5 conversions. Photos, large panorama photos over 300 megabytes can crash, and Photos app when switching between 2D and spatial view. They give a workaround to convert those panoramas to JPEGs or HEIC before importing. Screen recording and Quick Look fixed a bug where high-quality screen recordings could silently fail to save when the headset was warm. Fixed a recording bug where switching between high quality and standard recording could break screen recording until a restart. And then several quick lock annotation bugs fixed along the way. Accessories and inputs, spatial accessories like the Logitech Muse stylus and the PSVR2 controllers were dropping input and tracking mid-use. That's been fixed. Battery percentage shown when you flip your hand over could mismatch the control center. That's been fixed. And then other everyday app fixes, emails with mail could show content that didn't match the subject line, fixed. Freeform, the back button could freeze on curved boards after previewing spatial media, fixed. Personas, spatial personas could look laggy during high-quality recording. That's fixed. Genmoji image playground panel could appear blank when opened from Safari or Freeform, fixed. And then Safari WebKit 3D models embedded in web pages could render off-center, too dark in dark mode, and inconsistently across devices. There were several fixes there to address that. Still some known issues, just a few here. Test flight beta apps may launch to a blank window. We discussed some of that in previous shows, or the trouble with test flights. And then status bar. A battery percentage can be stale, so you can open the control center to refresh that. Other things about Siri Maps can still be responses and garbled snippets. And voice control for opening environments aren't working yet. So use gauge and pinch from the home view instead. A good list of material, and I will try to fit these in the show notes if I can with the other apps that we have in there. Just got a notice here from AP_Christ, first-time viewer, found you from macOS Ken. Thanks for joining us, and stick around. I think you'll have some fun with it, particularly if you have a Vision Pro, and glad you joined us there. So that's it with the betas or with this beta release. Quite a bit there, guys. I don't know if you have anything to add or comment about it in terms of the progress. Are we going to see the final version or the RC version next, or we're looking at another beta, do you think?
I think there'll be another beta because none of the new OSs are going to be released until at least a month from now. So I would bet to say at least one, maybe two more will be out.
Eric, anything to add?
Well, it installed. My Vision Pro is still working. That's good news.
And Eric is a little beta shy, particularly with working with devices that he's really dependent on. So good to hear about that you took the risk and loaded it. It seemed excessively long for me to download it. Could be everybody was trying to grab it. It could be my system here because I was running other things, but it seemed excessively long. And it kept jumping from 34 minutes, 11 minutes. No, it's 27 minutes. No, it's 12 minutes. No, and it kept going back and forth, teasing me like that in part of it. So a couple of articles about Apple developers, fifth developer betas, not only on iOS 27, but also developer betas, iPadOS 27, macOS 27, and more. This just hit, I would say, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we are recording at 9 p.m. that same time. So getting them on, getting them loaded and kind of testing them out took some time, and then waiting to get the information that we managed to get just about an hour before show that I gave you in terms of the beta summaries. So for visionOS. Here's the top story, the one that I was Yahoo. I am so happy it's happening. It meshes two of my favorite sports, wasting time on technology and watching baseball. Now, the only issue I have with this is there are too many damn Dodgers. If you look at the games, and Dave, I'm going to open
no
this
Cubs
for you if you want to. No Cubs, but they're talking about Los Angeles Dodger. Everything seems, no, Dodger or the Angels after the Red Sox Yankees, which is August 28th? Yeah,
That's
August 28th. Yeah, that is. And is it the Red Sox at the Yankees? So that'll be an interesting game, Friday Night Baseball, as part of the Apple TV setup. That is how you will be able to get this. And it talks about the different immersive things that will happen. Other games include, what am I looking at here? I just had it and lost it. September 4th, Los Angeles Angels at the Pittsburgh Pirates. September 11th, San Diego Padres at San Francisco Giants. And then we go back on the 18th for the San Francisco Giants at the Los Angeles Dodgers. No Cubs.
But no, you have to have the Angels and the Pirates, like two of the low end teams that are in the league.
Yeah. So, Dave, do you have any excitement about this?
I'm excited to see the technology. I'm not excited about the teams, but I'm like you. I'm a baseball fan too, and I would. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And just like what we were doing with basketball, the good thing now is we can actually literally watch it and not have to wait until they put the recording out later.
Yeah.
Because obviously we couldn't even buy it if we want to. So now at least these we already have it and we can start watching it. So I think this is leading up to I think technology with sports is just going to continue anyway. There's bet any money that the NFL is going to start doing it too, and then maybe even the NHL will be next. I mean, it's possible. Just the way technology is going, and people want to immerse themselves in sports. Well, this is a good way to do it.
Notice from AP_Christ, I don't get my Jays. Toronto Blue Jays, I guess. And then Craig Allenbeck said they're all West Coast games. Now that they're at the Pirates, Pittsburgh Pirates, I would say is East Coast, but there's a heavy emphasis of West Coast teams that are in the roster. I'm excited with everything except the announcers because they have their set announcers,
God-awful.
which are terrible. And they're more like cheerleaders in a lot of ways and sometimes they just drum a lot on one particular player over and over and over again. And if I have to hear about Ohtani anymore, I'm done with it. But I found it interesting.
Oh.
Someone, when this came out, it was in Reddit, and Reddit, somebody said, it would be really great if you could just shut off the announcers and watch the game.
Yeah.
Like you were really
you could put the radio feed.
Yeah. Like you're really at a game. You don't have announcers giving you play-by-play when you're sitting in the stands. You're watching the game.
Yeah.
And you have to figure it out. So
but a lot of times local teams, if they like their announcers on the radio, you try to sync that up.
And Dave Hudick says there's a real excitement about watching sports live. I do agree with that, and particularly watching with this immersive technology. And AP Christ said this is also international, so this is hitting other countries too. It includes the UK, Canada, and Japan. Get the live immersive feed with full replays and highlights are on demand for everyone else. So US, UK, Canada, and Japan, and this is a time for you to relish in your Vision Pro headsets. I don't know. Eric, you got any call on this? Nope.
Although I'll watch it.
Yeah. One of the comments, and you brought this up, Eric, you mentioned it with the basketball stuff, was the idea of sitting courtside and hearing the ball hit the court. And people, running down the court. However, now, I guess you were interrupted by announcers too. Was that part of the feed with the basketball that you had play-by-play?
Yeah, a little bit, and kind of moving the camera back and forth. Now, I did like kind of getting the side court view and then under the basket view because you could see, was it in, was it not in? That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But sometimes there was more, it wasn't the same as sitting at a game where you can't jump up and run over underneath the basket to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that was a feature. I have no idea how they're going to do this. So I really want to see a couple games to see where it's all going and to see, do they really get immersive sound or, is that kind of a, how well can they do that? It takes a lot of effort to get that balanced.
Yeah, they're going to be doing some things with this, like floating lineups and stats that are part of this. So you can see this, you can see lineups and stats. You can also view the stadium with spatial audio during breaks. So they will take you around the stadium, I guess, during breaks. Dedicated commentary, which we all don't like, round out the presentation. So it'll be kind of cool. And you know what? I like this comment from Craig. They're all West Coast games, but he also put in, if they really want to sell immersive, go with the Cubs and the Steelers. Now, I think he's talking about a football game with the Steelers for immersive and the Cubs for a baseball game. I don't think you'll ever see the Cubs play the Steelers, but that would be fun too. In immersive.
I would watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, that's where we are with this, and all exciting. Vision Pro users with Apple TV subscriptions in Australia, Canada, Germany, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, the UK, and the US can stream the games live. So it's even bigger than what I had previously announced in terms of international focus. And wouldn't that be cool if it takes enough momentum that we start to see at least some games of the week that are done immersive with that version. So let's move on. Again, all of these links will be in the show notes, more links than what I've put up on the screen with information in the show notes. So you can go ahead and see and go through the articles as you wish with this and have some fun with that. The other big article that came out this week was about the surgery stuff. The fact that the Vision Pro has found a has found a place within surgery, and this was a University of California, San Diego study that was a peer-reviewed Vision Pro surgery trial, is in 19% faster with identical outcomes. So their surgeons are using them. A study in AJO International compared 32 endoscopic tear duct surgeries with headsets. Cases averaged 34.4 minutes versus 42.7 minutes on traditional monitor, roughly 19% faster with every case succeeding, and no complications in either group. Dave, I think we talked about this on your show because it came out on last Thursday. I think we had a conversation about this. VR.org frames this as evidence that hospital procurement committees actually move on a controlled peer-reviewed comparison rather than press release from practice. So in the past, we've gotten lots of press releases from hospitals saying, hey, this is cool. We're using this for this type of surgery. This is how we're incorporating the Vision Pro. And it really is more encouraged in process that you do peer-reviewed studies, and that's what this one was. Mac Rumors and the article we're looking at now, summary, the same study, surgeons wearing Vision Pro as their primary display kept a natural forward-facing posture instead of turning to monitors and having to look at monitors. Yeah, the feed was just chock full of these articles. So one here from Mac Rumors. The previous one was from VR.org. Then, of course, you have Apple Insider. They say that it's a great bargain from a price-wise standpoint in terms of time, safety, and the work that they can use with it. Mm-hmm. And then it's a niche product, and this one, it comes from 9 to 5, kind of going in the back way and saying this is really a niche product, but it's really important in terms of surgeries and how it can be used in surgeries. So, yeah, any thoughts or general comments on this?
Yeah, we did talk about it. It had just come out that Thursday when we recorded it with iOS, but it's been making the rounds. It looks like we're going to talk about it tomorrow on Mac Voices Live too. But I probably shouldn't spoil that, but it's making the rounds everywhere. So I mean, I've been seeing a lot of coverage on it because it is a pretty exciting thing to see. Finally, we got some of these news outlets are actually recognizing the Vision Pro. Oh, this kind of is a really cool thing to be able to do, and so I find it to be fascinating that they can be able to do this. It's just, with surgeries are nerve-wracking enough as it is for the patient, let alone when you want your doctor to be able to have the right tools to be able to make it successful, or at least help it even better, making it successful.
Well, and being able to reduce pain levels in the surgeon from neck injuries and back injuries, that's really big. The number of surgeons that either have to stop surgery for a while they get vertebrae fused together, or that retire early, or have some other sickness related issue because of the weird way of tilting the head and leaning over or whatever. Anything that can be done to help that is so worth it.
Yeah, I like how Eric cares about the surgeons. I really care about the patients. The surgeons are racking enough money. But here's what happens. If the surgery is just as effective in terms of its success rate, and there's less time spent on the table, there's less risk to the patient. So if there's anesthetics, if there's medical intervention, you're reducing that risk time for clients or for patients in the process. And that's a really cool, they don't mention much about that in terms of outcomes here, but it's not that they've cut off, 19% of the time, so they can now do, another 3 surgeries a day or 3 procedures a day. It really does, it does have impact in terms of patient safety. So that's cool. Yeah, the faster surgeries, this is from Dave, faster surgeries are great for the patient, not to mention the loved one in the waiting room. And any more on this? I think we can go on to some of the other stuff that we're looking at. This came out and made a splash this week. Well, let me correct it. It didn't come out. It is essentially a Kickstarter at this point. It is the XR1 challenges the Apple Vision Pro at a $799 price. And this made a splash. Smaller, cheaper, more useful, supposedly going to be hitting the market in October of 2026. So this is around the bend. From what I can read about this article, and then there's another article. Actually, it's a Reddit post. Here's my full review of the UR-XR1, bigger deal than Apple Vision Pro. So we have a couple of articles that chase this particular device down. The one that is geekygadgets.com is pretty lengthy in talking about what it's equipped with. Seamless connectivity via USB-C ensures compatibility with laptops, desktops, smartphones. When I read that, I thought, is this a dumb terminal on your face? Really? If you're connected via a USB-C, I don't know what the product does other than take that feed off of whatever you're connected to and then give you a full immersive sort of screen. They talked about a 90-degree diagonal field of view. So it's not even that big of a field of view compared to other devices. So weighing in at 93 grams, it's focused on comfort. And paging through this article or scrolling through this article, you kind of have to get through a bunch of ads, but it does go on for considerable length to talk about the features that are associated with this. And even the Reddit post that we'll have the link to also talks a great deal about and is rather lengthy explaining that. And I'm not sure if they had any responses to it at this point. Man, it is a long Reddit feed. They did have some response. Yeah, you can bet your ass Xreal and others are already scrambling to offer more than full HD resolution. Panels in UR-XR have been available for a while, but they are pancake lenses. They're literally not any 0.68 type micro LED panels that are higher resolution than 1920 by 1220. So a bit of chatter in here, but still it's $800. It's just outside of Meta glasses in terms of price. So yeah, any thoughts, guys?
It'll be interesting once it actually comes out, and it doesn't look like the final price will be so much higher that you can't afford to pay later if you need to.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm's there. Whether it does enough for everyone, probably not, but for the people where it matches what they're looking for, it could be really useful.
Yeah, they say get in on it because it is priced at $799, but we lost Dave here for a minute. That's the Kickstarter price. The after Kickstarter price is $899. So you're paying $100 more to wait and see. If you're going to pay $800 for a headset, to pay $900 for it, or to wait and see to find out if it really is worth the cost in it, makes sense. So that's a good point, Eric. All right. Let's get into some of the kind of short stories that we have for the week. And these include, this is a from Spatial Insider on Reddit. And this is about Waddle. And we've talked about Waddle in the past as an app. And apparently they have high-resolution Mars available. You can explore Mars on Waddle. And now the video I'm showing is not exploring Mars, but there we go. And you can go on the planet's surface, and these are videos shot from, I think combinations of 360s videos shot from the Mars Explorer as it roamed around. Looks pretty cool. Just a kind of added piece for space folks that are interested. You can go to Waddle and look for that You can now explore 360 panoramas captured by NASA's Perseverance rover over the Jezero crater. Some interesting adaptation. I thought you would like that one, Eric. You get to go to Mars.
That sounds really cool. Without the flight.
Yeah.
It's a definite bonus.
You'd have to grow potatoes out of your feces. Because you're not coming back.
Oh,
come on. That's
a different
reference.
book. Oh my God. It was a good movie.
Yeah, I thought so. This I also thought was very cool. And this kind of hit the feeds. This is a app. I don't know if it's an app, a Vision Pro project. It's transporting delegates to Mexico City through immersive storytelling. And it has the links to it in this Reddit connection, so you can get to this. But I am going to run this back, and I just like the idea of virtual travel. And I guess this is for delegates who might be going to Mexico for some time, and it will take them to that location and give them an experience. And they're not showing much of Mexico right now. They're showing the delegates in this video with headsets on looking at it. But again, you can go to the Reddit link, which will be in our show notes. And this is spatialcreative.com. And the apps are StageIt is the app that you're looking for in Apple Vision Pro. And I think we've talked about StageIt before. Mm-hmm. And it's free. It has in-app purchases with it. And let's see what those are. The StageIt Pro is $19, $20. StageIt Founder Edition is $80. And StageIt Pro, probably we're talking about annual here, is a $80 option that you can do, which gets you then access to content, I would believe, that's in StageIt Pro or StageIt. So yeah, that's a bit of news. I didn't quite understand this, but I will go to it anyways. There is an app called High Fidelity. It runs on the iPhone, the iPad, Apple TV, and now on the Vision Pro. I was trying to get an idea of what this app does, and I thought I had the link directly to it in here. Yeah. And it's a real-time STEM-aware music visualizer for the Apple ecosystem. That's all that's on its homepage, but you can download the beta. Let's see what happens when I click that. Oh, it just wants to open up and download the beta for me. And then have this available on in my case, it would be a macOS, because it's macOS 26 plus Apple Silicon is needed with it. So apparently it's a real-time STEM-aware music visualizer. So it will add visual aspects to whatever you're looking at in Vision Pro. Worth it, I think, just to check it out to see what it does. Yeah, this post is talking about, I post here about Mac beta of High Fidelity, which features a metal rendering for .milk presets. There have since been updates to the Mac beta, and it's grown to the rest of the Apple platforms. So yeah, there's a link for that. Okay, you're up, Eric. This one you were real excited about. Reincarnated as a dungeon designer, I have to work on a fixed budget, and my dungeon keeps expanding. So what's going on here?
So this is a web-based immersive app. So you go to the website, it pops up, and you say, yep, I want it immersive. And then you start with modules of a dungeon. And you grab those little balloons, you stretch them out, connect them to things. All of a sudden, you get another module, connect it up. You get steps, you get trapdoors, and then there are some interactions with, yep, there's a trapdoor. All of a sudden, orcs get dropped on them or something, and so they're stopped from getting the treasure that's off to the left there. Highly entertaining, fun to play with.
Is this a D&D thing, Eric?
I don't know. It kind of reminded me a little bit of kind of Minecraft without having to build all the brick stuff. Everything's already there. It's a little violent at points, but it was fun. I just like the stretchy balloon thing where all of a sudden you have a whole room or a new module, and the little flag instruction things were cool, and the fact you just go to a website, poof, you're playing it, you know, low overhead to get into it. It was fun to see. Hopefully, we'll see others.
Well, I'm glad there's joy in life for you, and this has brought a little of it. This has brought a little of it to you. So,
Really, everyone should try it because it uses that new web interface to give you immersive, uh, and it's cool.
yeah, it's
I had one moment where I had the dungeon part and then the trap above the dungeon, and I was looking at it trying to figure out who was gonna show up, and all of a sudden I saw this hand reaching through the dungeon, and I thought, "Oh, I got it," and I triggered the trap, and then I realized that it was my hand because I was resting on the table and sticking my hand through the bottom of the trap, and yeah. So, but it was entertaining.
yeah. So it's based and built on WebXR. So you can take the link that is in the Reddit post that you then open up in Safari and play it from there. Is that right? Is that how it
Yep.
works?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it hits the web page and there's a button to click, and all of a sudden you're immersive with the game.
Yeah. Okay. This one got posted. Eric, I think you threw a bunch of stuff in our feed this afternoon, and I appreciate that. And then Dave also threw one in that we'll get to in a minute. Cockpit
So
is a modular glanceable dock for visionOS. Was this it?
so
Either of you or
I tr-
yeah.
well, I tried it, and it's kind of neat. It has a really large size clock on it. You can see the battery levels of all of your devices like you would on a phone. You can do an app launcher. It doesn't work with every app, but a bunch of them I tried worked just fine. Like I could add music there, click on it. So it's kind of cool. I haven't had a lot of time to play with it, but it's up and kind of hanging out upstairs. So when I go back up later, I will do some more playing. It's early, so this is still in test flight. So I imagine they'll do more improvements over time, but it was kind of fun to look at.
So is this giving you dock information about your Vision Pro headset, or is it giving you dock information about the
Uh,
that you're
yeah,
doing the
yeah.
play with?
It's kind of like when you're looking at at a phone
Yeah.
with updated my phone and now my swipes don't work. Oh, totally blanking on what it's called. This is what vacation does to me. But on the phone where you get the screens and you get power
Yeah.
levels and calendar and what's coming up next. Basically, you can get those in a strip.
Yeah. So these are widgets
Like
in a way
widgets, yes, thank you.
based
Yeah.
on your phone or based on the laptop? Because they have a laptop in that space, and I don't know if they're doing Mac Virtual Display with that, or is it based on what's going on with your headset? So you
Well,
you
it's
have
in
to
the heads. It's in the headset,
yeah.
but it was showing me battery levels for my phone and my watch.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right, kind of like on the phone, you can get battery levels for your other devices, and
So it
and
takes
the calendar stuff was linked to my calendar. I mean, this was all my Vision Pro because at the time I was trying this, I didn't have a Mac open or nearby, but I could see calendar, I could see notes, like to-dos, I think, and like battery levels. They're a bunch of little modules. So, and
so
I don't know if there'll be more added, but the ones that were there are at least useful.
so apparently it
And
connects to any device that is on your network or similar Wi-Fi that is part of your cloud
I think
or
it
part of your
I think it yeah, I think it talks to your iCloud account because it's
yeah,
looking at your iCloud calendar and that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's early days yet, but it's looking promising, and I like having a clock around, and having a clock that has the ability to launch a couple other apps is useful. So,
Yeah.
I'll keep
I
playing with
I'll
it.
I'll mention on the Dudgeon thing, you'll be happy to hear this comes from Brian. This looks entertaining and may be an interesting physics critical thinking game. Building dungeons?
Well, I mean, they do that with Minecraft.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure about the, impaling invaders with spikes, but, yeah,
Yeah.
your mileage may vary. It will capture the attention of whomever is playing it.
Yeah. I think this next one I'm gonna skip because I don't get a context for it. Person is basically testing visionOS, macOS, and iOS 27 and would like
Oh,
to
that one
control. Yeah.
yeah, that one was actually it was interesting just from the standpoint of I hit this problem all the time where I'm sitting in a room where I have speakers and a thermostat and a phone and an iPad and a watch, and I ask the S lady something, and I'm never sure who is gonna respond and how they're gonna respond, and, will they just tell me to go look at my phone for a web page? Will they give me an answer? W Will they give me the same answer I just got 10 minutes ago because it took that long for it to think? So this was trying to do a kind of test with a bunch of devices, asking questions with the Vision Pro to see who responded, and so it
Uh,
it was just interesting to read through. Did the iPad respond? Did the Vision Pro respond? And I think as the S lady is or SAI is being used more and more, how that handoff is handled or stopped, I think will become more important. This is the first article or discussion I have seen somebody do where they actually tried to use it to get something done to see where were the pain points.
cool. I'm gonna go to this next one and see if we can understand it better. This is an app. So we talked about getting to apps. We've got a couple of apps here before we end out the show. A Scanline, an 8-bit emulator. And I'm still lost on what is available to you through this app. I haven't tried it. It is 8-bit gangs. What I can see is apparently it looks like they do have some games that are available online or available as part of the
I, I
device.
believe I believe they supply one game. It
Okay.
can play others, but you have to have them. So it's
So
like a lot of the other emulators around. If you happen to have the game file, you can load it into an emulator and play it. I don't think they're able to supply it. It's probably a licensing problem.
yeah. So how do you acquire those? Do you know how that is? Or is that a Daniel question?
The way you acquire it for any other emulator.
Oh,
I mean, Daniel could probably answer it better. None of these are games that I've played, and I didn't have a controller available to test this. So between that and the $20 price, I didn't actually try it. But for people that really want to play some of the old games, a lot of them actually have them. So it's a way of doing it.
yeah, there's gotta be and I don't know if anybody in our chat room can answer that. This might have been a Daniel question. Like, where would I find these if, for God's sakes, I wanted to play any of these? And the only one I want to play is Zaxxon, which is probably more than an 8-bit game.
That might be a Reddit question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a Reddit question. Where do you get these? But it is, yeah, $20. And I wasn't about to lay out $20 for it, but it's come up as a kind of new app. So we wanted to mention that. I will mention this one. I saw this as a new app, and I'm kind of a puzzle nut when it comes to Vision Pro. If I'm not watching movies, then I'm taking a break and I'm doing some puzzle work with it. And this is called, what is it called? It's called Blockworks. And if you can see the video, you basically have two menus right now. You have animals and plants, and it is set up. It is the best way to describe it is like a block game. God, what is that game that Jeff Gamet loves, or the blocks that Jeff Gamet loves?
Oh, Lego.
Lego, thank you. I'm sorry I spaced that out. This is like Lego for for Vision Pro. You are given, I bought it because it's, again, a puzzle game. And the thing that I liked about it was you're given pieces and you have to attach them, but you physically have to use both of your hands to grab them to put them together. And eventually they start with a smaller animal, a simple animal, a snail, and then it's kind of looks like a Lego snail. And you can move up through more complicated ones. There were two problems with the game that I found for me and maybe for other users. The game opens up and it has two separate pieces and no instructions, even no words saying, what am I supposed to do with these pieces? Well, it's quite obvious you're supposed to put the two pieces together. So I grab one, I grab the other one, and I put the pieces together, but I don't put them together correctly. And I can't get anywhere. I can't go back. I can't. So then I have to grab them and try to pull them apart. And the physics was not really working for me at that point. And I got pretty frustrated because I just spent $10 on this game. I went over and I turned the light on in my room because maybe the reason I'm not having as such good, it's because there's not enough light for it to see my hands to do. That seemed to help, and just plain stubbornness got me to pass the opening screen. When I finally got the piece set together, it opened up and it was really kind of nice. And so I put together the snail and then switched over and looked at what other things, flowers. It was like plants and flowers. Again, all sort of with the Lego look and a Lego feel with, the little Lego points on them. And the snail, you had to set the back end of the snail in a particular pace. I put this piece vertical and it needed to be horizontal. So it kept not working for me to add future pieces to it till I got that piece figured out. And again, it was this kind of like trying to pull apart something that was so sticky that I couldn't get it apart. And that's just my eye-hand coordination is the problem. So I finally got it apart, got it put together, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with the game. I'd like to close the game out. Cannot find anything to close the game out. No little bar. You go back to the menu. You can back out to the menu. I'm like, okay, so where's that? Where's the little garbage can? Where's the little exit thing? Doesn't exist. And then I go down to the bar and I'm looking at the bar and there's no little X out to close. I still don't know how to close this game out. It's probably running in the background of my Vision Pro right now. But it's the kind of puzzle thing that with more practice, I might get into building and doing that. So that is Blockworks. And again, the link for the app will be in there if you want to see it. Speaking about physics games there, Brian, you might want to take a look at this one. And then finally, Dave has got one here called Sail GP Race Escape. I'm looking for video. I don't have any video on here.
And this is just the link to the app itself in the App Store.
Yeah.
No, there's some videos in there. If you open to the top there.
Yeah, I'm not finding them, at least on the screen that I have.
I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong link. There we go. Yeah, you're right. There are no videos.
Yeah, so tell us about the app, or at least what you know about it.
Yeah, it's just another way of doing spatial video with this is sailboats and doing boat positions and experiences with sailboats, and it's gotten some great reviews. I mean, there's only 3. It looks like there's not enough for a lot of them, but these were a while back, so I haven't seen a lot of activity. I seem to remember we talked about this app before. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I'm not sure if it was focused on sailing per se, but yeah. Go ahead.
No, it just says race. It's just saying, I guess it is racing. Sail GP.
Yeah.
But it's boat. Yeah. No, it says AR tabletop to view boat positions. Yeah.
Yeah. If I remember this when we last looked at it, it had a video of an actual sailboat race.
Yeah.
And you could watch the video on a screen, but then it had a generated tabletop where you could see the positioning changing with the different boats as they go, and you could also get data. And I think this tabletop piece has transferred over to what we see in basketball, what we see in flight landing. They have those apps where,
Right.
and I think it was in version 2, that they did this whole platform for tabletop things that apps can do. And then there's that one app that is kind of crazy, but it's still fun to watch. It opens up a map on a tabletop of a airport, and you choose the airport, and you can see planes coming in, and it's a representation of what's going on in real time at the airport, landing in on different runways and stuff. So this tabletop thing has kind of transferred over to basketball. There's a little bit of that in the MLB app, and now also in this sailing app. So and you can't do that in 2D. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to do it in 2D. So that's what I think makes this kind of a neat, unique thing to look at. SailGP Racescape XR is what it is. And we have the link for the app. As David said, it's free. And this will allow you to get to the store and download it if you want to.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's a wrap for us. Couple of big stories. Of course, the beta came out. Then we had the story that was prevalent all week about surgery and the surgery impact. And then the news today that just came out about baseball. And so I will be counting the days, even though it's the Red Sox I have to watch and the Yankees.
They've been on fire though. That team's won at least 9 in a row.
Yeah, but you've sat in the Wrigley Field stands when the Red Sox fans have played. Oh, they're terrible. They're and I know this is going to just cause terror if anybody hears this from me. I'm going to get doxxed. But they're just obnoxiously rude. It's sort of like there's not this humility at all. It's like, if you win, great. Just don't. Anyways, going down the rabbit hole.
I've been to Fenway and seen a game there, so I know.
Yeah, and so well, then you've got one on me.
Yeah,
they are raucous from what I've heard and what I've seen when I've seen them as visitors at Wrigley Field, and then the Yankees too. I mean,
yeah. Well, no,
they're
that's
up
all
there in my they're up there in my they're on my dance card right next to the Dodgers. You know, good luck with that. So let's find out where we can find you, Eric.
It can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mas.to. Otherwise, see Sundays on the Neo Notebook, Mondays here on Vision Profiles, Tuesdays Mac Voices Live, and Thursdays on In Touch with iOS.
Cool. Dave?
You can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Neo Notebook on Sunday nights. Monday nights here on Vision Profiles. Tuesday nights, Mac Voices Live. Looks like we have a show tomorrow, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thursdays, we record In Touch with iOS. Fridays, the Tech Hangout. On social media, Dave Ginsburg on Blue Sky and Mastodon.
Thanks to everybody in the chat room tonight. That includes Dave, Hudek, and Brian, and AP_Christ, and Craig. And so, I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. But for those of you joining in the chat room, that's always exciting. And it's fun to watch where their thread sometimes goes while we're doing a show. They're in another discussion, and that's always cool too. So you can join folks on that at youtube.com/@visionprofiles on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch us live on that channel, our YouTube channel. You can find me at Gencius, Jencius, on Blue Sky or Mastodon. I am on the Neo Notebook. I am on this show, Vision Profiles. I'm on Mac Voices on Tuesday nights with Chuck Joyner, and Wednesday nights with the Old Mac Gang, Thursdays with Dave on In Touch with iOS, and Friday mornings on the Tech Hangout. Check out the podtalk.net, and you will find other shows you might be interested in tuning in and taking a look at that I'm involved in. So the website is podtalk.net. Thanks for joining us. Email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com if you have questions, comments. compliments or ideas for shows, we'd be happy to hear from all of you through the podtalknetwork@gmail.com. That's it for this show. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.